Hi, welcome back. In this part, we will start looking to the content of the course. Well, basically, as I said, the first part is on macroeconomics, and the second part was on the macroeconomics, and the last chapter was kind of in between. So this is the part on the microeconomics. Introduction to the course and the economics is to what you basically let me make it larger see today. And then basically the second chapter will be on demand and supply and consumer and producer surplus, where we will see the basic element of the market of any particular good, which might be, for example, food, market for oil, market for computers. Basically, we will see how a typical market functions in its most basic form. This model is kind of like the most basic model of economics, and as you will see, many other models will be basically mimic demand and supply model. Applications of demand and supply model, where we will see some examples how this model can be used. And then we have consumption at the household. We will see a more, how can I say, complex market model, which is kind of like a market model that exists only under a certain conditions. And to define how these conditions might be formed, we will look to the consumers and buyers in the market, basically. And then we will look to the producers and the companies. And then we will bring everything together and basically present a particular model, which is taken as a central model by the most economists. We are calling that mainstream economists. And more or less, the outcomes of this model are believed to be applicable to the actual economic system, although there are significant questions. Many economists agree there are some exceptions and this is a perfection, but many also agree that this perfection is close to at least significantly close to reality to be at least presented to show characteristics of a typical marketing economy in capitalist economy in existing economic system. But we will see imperfections, the cases where this model become not applicable, even under the existing economic framework. And monopoly and imperfect competition is a case where we will see how this model might be inapplicable, and basically we will see a model with one company, and then we will see a second model where kind of each company is like a monopoly, but they are still competing with each other in this last chapter. Note that all macroeconomics is basically describing a framework on which most economists agree, but not all of them agree. This framework can be called as neoclassical framework, although many non-neoclassicals, Keynesian economists also use this framework. So this is a dominant macroeconomics framework describing the smallest element, and most key element of the economic system. But there are significant objections, small but significant objections to this model. Some of them not that popular in the academia, but have been popular outside of the academia. Marxian models are example. Feminist economists are making some objections to this model, although their framework is not that much clear. Their objection is more like a critique of this main framework, but they have some small models that are covering some of the aspects that are lacking in this mainstream model. Basically, post-Keynesians they have some alternatives to this model. Although, again, this model is far most popular model. I mean, very, very popular in academia. I mean, it's the far most dominant model in the academia, far most dominant framework in the academia will be the one that we will present throughout the microeconomics part of this course, which contains not one model but many models basically. But we will still have also imperfect competition model, one major model which is at the center of this framework. Anyway, second part of the course is on the macroeconomics, where we will have an introduction to the macroeconomics and then a chapter on GDP and growth, labor market, unemployment and inflation. Will be one chapter, and then basically GDP and growth is the long-term chapter, long-run chapter, where we will see how economy as a whole, economy of a country as a whole will grow, produce more, and basically how we can first measure how much a country is producing, and then some basic aspects, basic aspects of how this overall production level can increase. Are there some limits to that increase? And what are the factors that are limiting that increase? Although in this chapter we will talk very, very basically on the growth, so we don't go much into detail of the growth. Well, I should mention that macroeconomics was at the very beginning basically on the overall economy of a country, basically, so a nation's economy. It doesn't look as far as the whole world, and it is basically created by the most dominant figure is Keynes here. In the previous part, macroeconomics, Adam Smith, and the second most popular figure is Alfred Marshall. These were the two dominant figures. Here, John Maynard Keynes is a very dominant figure in this case. And he wrote his major book and basically other works on economics after the Great Depression. So the main question at that time was not how to increase the growth rates, but rather how to create stability in the economy, how to prevent the fluctuations in the economic system, which might actually make countries that are developed to lose their production level. So stability was the main question. So, and because of that also, basically, the dominant topic in the macroeconomics is the not growth and long run, basically, rather to how to manage the economy so that it will get close to its potential output at the moment, and how to prevent it to basically have a crisis or depressions or stagnations. And this main Keynesian model is kind of the topic of the, all chapters between the GDP and growth and the international economics. We will see three different parts of the national economy: labor market, which we will see in relation to the money and inflation, market for goods and services, and then money and interest rate. Well, labor market is far weakest part, which is, in my opinion, what makes it more excited to work on labor market, because it's so much unexplored, in my opinion. And even when it is studied, the main model is a model where it connects the labor market to the money market, basically. So it's not studied in isolation with other markets. But still, we will see the basic concepts and how we define labor market in that chapter also. Markets and goods and services and money and interest rate all are pretty, they are important chapters and key chapters for Keynesian model. And then we will combine all these three markets in one model called ADAS model, and see how, according to this model, crises start and basically. And then we will have another chapter on how government policies might affect the overall national economy, fiscal and monetary policies and government intervention. And in the last chapter, we will see again focusing on national economies, how the fact that the national economy is not isolated but connected to the outside world will affect the economic variables and economic structure. Which means in the previous chapters, actually, we won't talk on the effect of the foreign interventions that much. I mean, the effect of the outside world on the national economy that much. Kind of, we will see as if the economic system is isolated, although you might also assume that it's not total isolation, but we might think that the outside influences are not that important, basically. So this is basically what we will see, the outline of our course. Well, on the rest of the presentation, I will basically talk on, we have a part where you can see introduction to the economics in general and what economics is, and what are different branches of economics, including the ones you won't see in this course. And then there is a part where, the models, theories, and laws, and basically in scientific way, are discussed, and basic scientific methodology is discussed. I leave that part to you. You can look to it and you can think about it. And there is also a model. If you are interested, you can also look at that model. But I will cover the part that is related to the definition of economics, and later also, how economics is studied, or how economic system is studied, basically. But before doing that, I would like to show you the course page, how it will look like at the end of the semester. This is the course page of the previous semester, after that the course became online. So you will have, here are the weeks starting. So you will have in the previous part, both exams will be uploaded here, midterm and final exam, as well as the makeup exam at the bottom. And the assignments will also be uploaded here, both assignments, regular assignments and alternative assignments. Their movie review will also be uploaded here. There will be two discussion boards for one for course content and rules, and the other one on the technical problems. If you have any question, you can ask there. For the week, for every week, this is the non-online part. Once we pass to the online part, for each week you have a video file, the PPT file, and discussion on the topic, basically, where you can ask your questions on that particular topic. So this is how of course, for now, the course page is empty. I find for each week I also will write what the topic is, what are the assignments that are assigned for that week, and basically the deadline of the assignments of that week. So this is how the course page will look like. Of course, for now it is void, but I will put this video and the syllabus and the PPT files, but it will look like this at the end of the semester.